And the next one is lockpicking level XP. Similar to Mafia 1 when you could unlock different, lockpicking abilities to lock different cars. This lockpicking level would have been, like, at the top you would have been able to rob safes. You would have unlocked safes with the lockpicks. And using different lockpicking levels, you'll be able to lock different cars and stuff. Which I'm happy they didn't put in the game, because I know it's a bit unrealistic, seeing as Vito just knows how to lockpick everything, but it would have just been a nuisance. It's just unnecessary. It's similar to Mafia 1. Like, if I wanted a car, I wanted to steal it. Like, he couldn't smash the window just because he can't lockpick it. Like, come on. Next is a gun license. This was a bit stupid as well, but it's more realistic, which I like. If you were just walking around with a gun and then the police obviously try and stop you and arrest you, you were able to pull out your gun license, so you wouldn't be arrested, or you would just be fined like a little bit just because you're just waving your gun around. Then that would have been a different police option to show your papers and then obviously get let off or something, which would have been nice, because sometimes I've mistakenly pulled out my pistol and then the cops would try and arrest us and I have to fucking spend my hard-earned cash to get them away from us. The menu screen is another notable change and cut. It was totally different. We had quick fight, quick race, free ride, story mode, quick combat, a race with selected car, downloadable content, free ride, and play downloadable content. So the quick fight would have just been going into the game and you would start and just have a quick fight, like with a fight club, and just start fighting someone for money. Quick race would have just, well, it's self-explanatory, just put you in a random race, a random car, and then just race. Free ride, this was the biggest thing that we needed in Mafia 2, was free ride, seeing as you couldn't just drive around and have a free ride and explore the city unless you didn't do the mission and then did that on story mode. But they didn't put that in the main story, but they put that in Jimmy's DLC and the Joe's Adventures. You will be able to explore the city after you finish the game, which would have been, well, you know, story mode. They've obviously put that in there because it's story. A quick combat, well, I'm thinking that they would have just put you into the map with the police just coming after you, or the gangsters coming after you, and you would have just obviously been in a shootout, which would have been quick combat. A race with a selected car, basically a quick race, but you could select what car you wanted. Downloadable content, free ride, so that's just free roam as Jimmy or Joe, which they already put in the game, so that doesn't really matter. Play downloadable content, that's also been put in the menu that we have now. Another cut ability was respect level. Respect level was actually a pretty good ability to have in the game, because they had perks for the high. If you had the higher respect ability, the lower prices would be in the stores, and the notoriety for the police would go down as well. And it would have been nice to have perks with the higher, like, if you, right, let's put it this way. We've just came back from war, right? We'll have the same prices as everyone else because we're just a nobody, right? But when we're a made man, we still have the same prices as a nobody. Like, nobody is scared or intimidated or anything, or pays respect to you. Like, what is the point? The whole point is to join the families to have respect and make money. The only thing we're doing is making money. We don't have no respect by anyone. Jeez, that's why we needed it, because I think the game would have been 10 times better with a respect level. Another ability is sitting down. Pretty self-explanatory. You could just go and sit anywhere you want. If you saw a park bench, you would be able to sit down, which would have been nice once again, but it's not really necessary, if you know what I mean. It would have been nice to have the choice, but yet again, it's not necessary. And another ability, the final one, would be storing in trunks. I know the main question for years has been, why can you open the trunk of the vehicle in Mafia 2 if you can't do anything with it? Because it was originally going to be used to put guns or anything else into the back of the trunk and obviously drive it along. This could have possibly been bombs as well, as you can drive it somewhere and then you'll explode it on were remote. And a notable mission that was using storing in trunks was the Wild Ones, when Steve Cohen has the Molotov cocktails in the trunk, and obviously they never took it out of the game, which once again, it would have been nice, but it's not really necessary, to be honest, because obviously Vito carries everything on him, weirdly enough. So next is cut weapons. Let's have a look at them. Is the cut weapons. So the most notable weapon that was taken out of Mafia 2 were the melee weapons. Melee weapons don't even exist in Mafia 2, which is quite strange, because Mafia 1 had so many melee weapons. So first one is a bat, because in the start of Wild Ones we see the whole crew with bats, like Joe, Steve Cohen, and that could have possibly been us using the bats against them. That then they obviously didn't add them in the game, so they had them with guns, so we could use guns. We'll have knuckle dusters, chopper, which I think is what the triads use on Henry when they start cutting him up. A knife, here's a picture of one. Nightstick, that the cops would obviously use. Pipe, which the greasers could have possibly used. A torch, again, security guards have torches. A wrench, shovel, snow shovel, which would have only been available in the World War II kind of era. A broom, a cue, a bottle Vito uses on Eric when he smashes him over the head with it. A crowbar, and other weapons were also deleted, which were the M14 rifle, a Model 24 grenade, and one of them little stick grenades from World War II, and just the bare fists, which we get anyway. Cut story is the next one. Notably, DLC for Jimmy was all going to be one story called Rags to Riches. There's not much known about that. It's just about the name, so we're just going to move on from that. And the biggest thing about this was the multiple endings that were going to be placed into Mafia 2 instead of just the cliffhanger ending that we'll have. And these epilogue / endings were going to be Hag Time, which would have been taking place on October 18th, 1953, 2 years after Mafia 2. Friends for Life, which was July 22nd, 1955, which is 4 years after Mafia 2. And A Family Business, which is January 18th, 1954, which is 3 years after Mafia 2. It's unknown what these epilogues were going to be about. For Friends for Life is possibly Vito saving Joe and then them being on the run or some shit like that. Family Business is where obviously maybe he stayed with the Vinci family, and obviously Mafia 3 didn't happen, but we'll never know. And World War II missions were going to be put into the game. I know we've only got one World War II mission, which was the first mission, the Old Country I think it's called. And we were going to have about 10 more of World War II missions, near enough to make the game into Call of Duty or something. And these missions we could have possibly seen Vito being shot, as we know that Vito does get shot and spends a couple of months in the hospital. And one of these end missions could have shown Vito being shot, and then obviously it leads on to the Mafia 2 story. And cut characters. We've got about 5 cut characters, and I can infer who some of these are. Jolanda, I have no idea who she is, exotic name. Looney, you meet him in the Maltese Falcon, so I'm thinking he's possibly affiliated with the Falcone family, if not part of the Falcone family. An ambulance driver, I cannot remember any ambulances even being in Mafia 2, so I think that's why he was cut. Charlie Lopez, he was cut from the main game but then added to Joe's Adventures as a mission boss, and you get cars for him and stuff, but obviously Vito's never met him, so he's cut. And Monique, she was possibly a girlfriend for Vito, seeing as you get to escort her to the theatre in Midtown and stuff, so that would have been nice to have, similar to GTA. And this is the biggest thing of them all. Over 200 missions. 200 missions were deleted from Mafia 2. 200? so much story we've missed out on during Mafia 2 because over 200 missions were deleted. I would have loved to do 200 missions for Mafia 2. I think that the story, well, the amount of missions is about 15, I think. That's not enough. Even Mafia 1 had more missions than Mafia 2, which was quite sad. And I would have loved 200 missions, even if like 100 of them were side missions. I would have loved to play more of Mafia 2. And this was all the cut content, and I'm just shocked that all of this content, all of them would have made the game even better. Well, apart from a few, but that just doesn't change the fact that there's so many great stuff to put into the game, like the racetrack and the melee weapons, and even all of them 200 missions should have been added to make the game even better. And it's like, I don't know why they deleted them. Is it possibly because they couldn't handle making 200 missions or some of the content? I don't know. That was it. Would you believe I have done this voiceover twice now because the first one got deleted? So I've possibly missed a little bit of information that I've probably talked about in the first voiceover. But hey, I digress. Like and subscribe for some more, and I'll see you in the next. Redemption, once you got a newspaper, it would tell you like past events in the game that you actually did, like if there was a robbery in one of the towns, like the newspaper would talk about it. That's what might have been implemented into the newspaper Mafia 2 if we had the chance to buy it. Like Henry Thomas